Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining the first part of our webinar series covering frequently asked questions about SAP S/4HANA for fashion and vertical business. My name is Bhakti John from Attune, and I'll be hosting today's Q&A. Here's a quick bit of background to preface this session. For those that don't know, Attune is a technology consultancy and system integrator of SAP solutions for the fashion and lifestyle industry. And as of today, which is July 2018, we've started work on 5 implementations of S/4HANA for fashion vertical business, SAP's newish industry solution, which was launched in September 2017. And as is often the case with new solutions, we were asked many similar questions about this new solution, and therefore wanted to address these FAQs with a series of Q&As with different specialists. And for our first session, we thought it would be a great idea to kick things off with a very well-placed source on the subject matter, and are very pleased to welcome Dr. Christoph Schrader from SAP, who has a very impressive job title, which is Global Vice President, Industry Business Unit Retail. Hi, Christoph.
Hi, Bhakti. Many thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So before we head off with the questions, we want to give a quick intro into who you are.
Sure. Thank you very much. My name is Christoph Schroeder. I'm part of SAP. I have been with SAP now for 13 years. I'm one of the original designers of SAP Fashion Management, together with 2 partners in crime. A couple of years back, we designed this vertically integrated solution. I'm also the chief solution owner for fashion, which basically makes me responsible for, together with my development contact, to define the roadmap for fashion, to make sure that we really hit the nail on the head from a functionality perspective and strategy. And besides that, I'm also looking after GTM activities for fashion.
Sounds pretty good, Christoph. All right, so if you don't mind, let's jump straight into the questions, which will also be appearing on the screen for our viewers. So here we go with number 1. Is SAP S/4HANA for fashion and vertical business only relevant for fashion companies?
Well, that's a good one to start with. So first of all, in many cases, we have seen fashion as a kind of forerunner industry in so many areas. To me, always fashion in simple terms is characterized by seasonality, right? You have multiple seasons. Of course, formerly there were only a few. Now you can even say that every week can be a season. The other topic is multidimensional products. So when we talk about style, color, size, that is obviously something that is omnipresent in fashion. At the same time, we also see that in other industries. When we look at Apple, for example, one of the famous examples, when we take the iPhone, they also have different styles, right? So they have an iPhone 7, 8, iPhone X, you name it. They have different colors, and they also have different sizes regarding storage capacity. So this is also something you could argue is fashionable. It's also driven by season. So each and every year, Apple is bringing out new phones. And last but not least, the topic of vertical integration, right? What we see basically coming from fashion in the last, let's say, 1 or 2 decades, but it's also present in other industries and also other retail segments. So to answer your question, yes, it's also relevant for other industries with similar requirements. They will certainly benefit from the solution. I mentioned telcos, of course, but also pharmaceutical companies with the need of, for example, stock segmentations and the requirement to run allocation if there's less stock than demand. So this is something we look after as well. But our laser sharp focus at the moment is to be successful in fashion, although the requirements can be covered or can benefit other industries as well.
Alrighty, thanks, Christoph. Okay, so number 2, what are the key new functionalities that SAP S/4HANA for fashion and vertical business offers?
Yeah, going into functionality talk now. So one of the key functionalities, of course, for us was the demand and supply segmentation. So in other words, being able to segment stock either physically when we talk about different qualities or different country of origins, but also logically, right? When we talk about different sales channels, for example, retail, wholesale, e-commerce, it's a very huge requirement to segment the stock where it's needed, for example, in planning, but at the same time also to be able to harmonize where it makes sense. For example, you would like to place one PO for all the different channels to get the best rates from the supplier. The other topic is also related to that. We call that stock protection via a product allocation functionality. So in other words, how do we ring fence stock also in the season, right? At the beginning of the season, you want to make sure that everyone gets what they plan for, whereas at the end of the season, the goal changes dramatically. So you want to get rid of the merchandise because the new collection is already in transit. Another functionality is the very famous, formerly known order allocation, or ARUN. Within S/4HANA for fashion vertical business, it's called supply assignment. And that also includes an insight to action tool. So having better visibility on allocation results, being able to simulate, those are topics you can find in that solution. Last but not least, we also are in co-innovation mode with the customer. So we talk about requirements such as pack separately, ship together. That has been delivered already in our last release that came out in fall. And we also plan to deliver functionality that really creates additional agility in the supply chain area. So we call that, on the one hand, flexible purchasing commitments. So in other words, how can I postpone details in my purchase order? So for example, I just want to block capacity of 10,000 pieces, but the size distribution, color distribution, those kind of details, I might want to put in later because demands can quickly change nowadays, as we know. And also topics such as collection management and supply demand optimization are planned for the next release. So this is, in a nutshell, the big requirements and functionalities we have seen in the market and that we put in that solution.
Okay, great. So now we know what the new functionalities are. Now, I guess the transition to the next question: which strategies or business models, I guess, do these functionalities or does SAP S/4HANA Fashion enable?
So when we came out with our first release in fall last year, we were able to basically cover the retail and wholesale part of the business, and combination, of course, with S/4HANA for retail. We were able to put in the planned manufacturing functionality as well. So we preponed that release. So at least to me, it's the first time in SAP's history I'm aware of that we preponed functionality that was originally planned for fall, but we now brought it in already in May. And with that release, we are now able really to cover the whole scope of fashion, basically coming from manufacturing down to retail. Some customers call that from sheep to shop. And that, of course, gives our customers really the flexibility to run their business how they like it today. But of course, if business decides to add new business models to try out things, this platform will really create the flexibility for customers to easily deploy new functionality because it's an end-to-end integrated platform.
Okay. So the next question is a little similar, but there's actually a second part to it. So what are the significant business benefits of moving to SAP S/4HANA for fashion vertical business, especially for those who recently implemented a new ERP system?
So the key benefits for our customers are simplification, right? The world out there has become very, very complex, and they look for, on the one hand, of course, for guidance, but they also try to simplify their backend processes. So simplification was one of the key drivers and also one of the key benefits, of course, of the solution. The next one I touched already briefly upon is vertical integration, or in other words, the harmonization of the different channels a fashion company is operating in. And then basically it's always about this balance, keeping the balance between stability on the one hand and agility at the same time. And with that platform, they really support fashion end to end. And if customers recently implemented a new ERP system, and hopefully that was an SAP ERP system, they have already a pretty stable core in place from a backend perspective. And what we also see from their customers start to really focus on more customer-oriented processes, whether it's a store, whether it's online, really to create that experience our customers are looking for, and really to again become a destination, whether it's via their own stores or via online, what have you. And with that platform, they have the right starting point to do so.
Okay, thank you, Christoph. So earlier you mentioned SAP Fashion Management, which, if I'm not mistaken, was released in 2014, so not so long ago. So the next question that actually touches upon this is SAP S/4HANA for Fashion Vertical Business replacing SAP Fashion Management?
So that's a very good question we often get asked by customers. So first of all, S/4HANA for Fashion and Vertical Business is a separate product, and it's SAP's strategic way forward from a company perspective. So we don't replace SAP Fashion Management itself. However, if a customer today stands in front of the decision which solution to go for, the clear message, of course, is to go for S/4HANA for Fashion and Vertical Business. For existing SAP Fashion Management customers, in the meantime, more than 120 customers globally, so it has been a huge success. Imagine we have been out there for almost 4 years now. So they can continue to stay on that platform because from a functionality and process perspective, those two solutions are still very similar. And SAP Fashion Management will also be supported until end of 2025. So that gives customers enough room to breathe, and also functionality-wise, we are pretty confident that the solution will last for quite some time.
Okay, so you said that there are similarities between the two. So the next question actually touches upon that. So what is the difference, or are the key differences between SAP S/4HANA for Fashion and Vertical Business and SAP Fashion Management?
Yeah, that's a perfect one. So when we look at the recent history, when my friend in development and we sat together how we could solve the retail AFS challenge, and then of course SAP Fashion Management came out of those discussions. So in SAP Fashion Management, we followed already many development principles of S4, such as the principle of one. So in other words, in S4 there shall only be one solution for a product. When we look at the classical ERP over time, many functionalities have been developed. Many are overlapping due to different circumstances, and of course legally we were not allowed to cut off functionality because customers have a right to use that. So we also leveraged HANA capabilities in MRP and order allocation when we talk about SAP Fashion Management. So from a process point of view, the solutions today are very similar, I have to say. In S4, we further simplified the data structures, the number of tables, and use more standard functionality to our advantage. So one example is the use of advanced ATP, where we technically brought together ATP, backorder processing, and order allocation. It's now called supply assignment. And furthermore, new developments are done in Fiori, and we have a dedicated Fiori roadmap in order to help our customers attract especially the younger workforce. So you mentioned it's not so long ago, but a couple of years back when we asked our customers, do you want to have functionality or user experience? All of the customers said we want to have the functionality. And that statement has really shifted. When we now talk to customers, there's a huge emphasis on user experience because the workforce, it's really hard to attract them if you don't provide cutting edge technology also on the user experience front. And lastly, the difference is in co-innovation. So we are currently in co-innovation mode. So whatever we do in co-innovation is done in S4. So over time, that will increase the advantage or the difference of S4 compared to SAP Fashion Management.
Okay, thanks, Christoph. So question 7, SAP Fashion Management had tools provided by SAP to help migrating to it. Are there similar tools to support the migration to S/4HANA for Fashion and Vertical Business?
Yes, the answer is yes. That's the good news. So within S/4HANA, we make use of the existing SAP migration cockpit that comes with every S4 license. And customers can either do a system conversion. So in other words, to use let's take an existing retail customer, an ECC customer, they can convert into S4. They can do a new implementation. So in other words, migrate from A to B, and they could also do landscape transformation. So many customers have multiple ERPs and they would like to consolidate into one, or let's say less than before. So those are the three areas we support within S4HANA now. And it's very important to say that based on experience also with SAP Fashion Management, we did build a migration tool set. So that gave customers a lot of confidence to basically move from where they were to SAP Fashion Management. But in reality, many customers realize that this move is a business transformation. So in other words, how do you bring together your sales channels? How do you bring together your planning? How do you really harmonize the processes between different silos that currently exist in a company, let's say between retail, wholesale, and e-commerce? So although we created those tools, most of the customers said, okay, we have created a huge long tail in the past. We need to do business transformation in order to really create the benefits. And many of them started fresh, and that's maybe also something you have experienced as a great partner of ours in your system integration activities.
Indeed. Thank you, Christoph, for mentioning that. So next question, similarly to the last one, but this is more, to focus on your installed base. Apologies. Can I migrate directly from SAP AFS to S4HANA for Fashion and Vertical Business, and similarly from SAP Retail and Fashion Management to S4HANA Fashion?
Okay, so multiple aspects in that question. So let's start, first of all, with the most complex one, which is our existing AFS customers. So in the meantime, we have more than 350 customers running in AFS, and many well-known brands rely on this solid solution. And I'm very happy to share that we plan to have migration content for AFS available in the S4HANA migration cockpit. So that will give our large customer base really the opportunity to directly move to S4. And as I mentioned earlier, the solution is embedded in S4HANA in the migration cockpit, and that facilitates the migration of master data and also open transaction data from SAP AFS to SAP S4HANA for Fashion and Vertical Business. So that is really, really great news, so that we can use the standard toolset that SAP is providing, and our friends from development are putting together the content to make that usable for our existing AFS customers, because it needs to be usable, and then customers can decide how they want to migrate or how they want to tackle their journey to S4HANA for Fashion and Vertical Business. So that was for AFS. When we talk about existing retail and fashion management customers, they can use already the migration toolset that comes with SAP, because they are part of SAP standard. So that runs without any additional or any big additional developments. And I don't get tired of mentioning that, right? At the same time, we see many customers starting their transformation in the green or brownfield approach. So they go in and say, yeah, we need to migrate, but once they started the business discussion, how that all should work together and how to really leverage the key benefits of integrated harmonized processes, some customers really went away and said, okay, we only migrate the low necessity of data, or start even very greenfield. So that's very important to mention.
Okay, thanks, Christoph. So two more questions to go, and these are to kind of clarify decision-making in the relatively new S4HANA suite. So question 9, if I'm a pure play fashion retailer, should I go with SAP S4HANA for retail or SAP S4HANA for Fashion Vertical Business? And the second part, what's the difference, i.e. what additional functionality does S4HANA Fashion, the license, offer?
Okay, that's also a very good one that we get often asked. So technically, as we know, in S4HANA, we are in one box. And then, of course, we always have to distinguish the technical view versus the license view. So from a license perspective, S4HANA Retail for Merchandise Management and S4HANA for Fashion and Vertical Business share some foundational functionalities. So examples are the master data, the season management. So to give you one example, what I mentioned earlier, within SAP Fashion Management, we did already many of those harmonizations because in retail and AFS, we had different season concepts. So we need to decide, okay, which one is the one to go. So we also replicated that basically into S4. So season management is used by the same season management is used by retail as well as by fashion. Value-added services was another topic where in retail we have so-called additionals, but value-added services turned out to be more flexible and better, if you will. Another foundational topics are the area of demand forecasting, for example, merchandise buying or inventory management. And then when we talk about now the most important differentiation besides manufacturing of S4HANA for fashion and vertical business are, in my view, the area of stock segmentation and supply assignment, formerly known as allocation run or order allocation. So in other words, as soon as a fashion retailer operates more than one channel, SAP S4HANA for fashion and vertical business offers significant value to this customer with the option of stock segmentation and supply assignment on a very high level.
Alrighty, thanks, Christoph. So question 10, last one. What's the difference between S4HANA manufacturing versus S4HANA for fashion and vertical business? If I'm a fashion company with manufacturing operations, is S4HANA for fashion and vertical business suitable for me?
It is, since May it is. S4HANA for fashion and vertical business offers, let's say, the fashion-specific manufacturing functionality. And let me give you a few examples. So one is the so-called production control workbench. So this is a tool to handle multivariant planned and production orders. It handles combined orders. It's a mass processing tool that is very present in fashion when we talk about mass production, of course. It's not like we build an airplane. Then the topic of stock segmentation of material, right? So raw material, very important. The functionality of markers and combined orders, and also very important in the fashion space that we also introduced in SAP Fashion Management already, is the topic of feasibility analysis of critical components, right? At the beginning of the season, you need to consider the stock that is already delivered and assign suitable planned orders to that, so that the stock is ready for production. Whereas at the end of the season, you also need to consider the stock left and select planned orders to produce and make sure you make use of all the remaining stock. So basically, it is very suitable for fashion manufacturing companies. We have already a few customers signed up for that, and we are very much looking forward to starting the journey with them. As said earlier, we released the functionality in May, so not even 2 months ago. And we see already huge demand from all over the globe, since the topic not only for, let's say, the pure manufacturing, but also when we talk about mass customization, personalization, those topics become very important for fashion companies that don't consider themselves as manufacturers. And also for that, this functionality is well suited and can be used for.
Great stuff. Thank you, Christoph. So that actually does it for this Q&A. Again, Christoph, thank you very much for your valuable insights. We very much appreciate the time you've taken to be with us today.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a real pleasure, and I look forward to continuing the collaboration. And I would also like to thank you for the great partnership also within SAP Fashion Management. You have been testing S4, and we look forward to continuing the journey together with you as well.
Perfect, Christoph. Looking forward to the journey with you. So, and to those watching and listening intently, as I hope, we hope this session was informative and clarified a few things for you. So we've covered a lot of ground, and I'm sure there's a lot of questions out there waiting to be answered. So if you need any further details on what Christoph addressed or have any more questions, please get in touch. Send us an email at info@attuneconsulting.com. We at Attune look forward to continuing our dialogue with you and are happy to support you on your SAP roadmap. The page actually where this video is hosted will give you an overview, just a brief overview of how Attune can help you on your journey, for example, in form of a deep dive session tailored to show you how S4HANA for fashion and vertical business can benefit your organization. And one last thing, keep your eyes open for more Q&As like this one. They will be added to our website in the coming weeks. And if you like, you can also just simply wait for the alerts to land in your inbox by subscribing to our blog. So if you visit blog.attuneconsulting.com and then leave your details, we'll be sure to let you know when the new video is uploaded. So thank you for listening. Thank you again, Dr. Christoph Schroeder from SAP. It's now time to say goodbye. So this is Bhakti John from Attune saying goodbye.